Hey everyone, welcome to another recent game pickups video. I've got a lot to show you today. I think that these games have all accumulated over the past, I think, 4 or 5 months, so quite a few things. So let's go ahead and get into it. First up, we have Disney Infinity for the PS3. You guys know I'm a big Disney fan, and ever since this was announced, I really wanted to pick it up. Got a pretty good deal with this at GameStop. I think it was on sale for $54.99. I had a $10 off coupon as well, so got a pretty good deal on it. And it came with a free play set. I got the Toy Story play set, which I still haven't played. I'm only halfway through, I think, the Monsters Inc. Uh, game on here now. I've kind of taken a break from it, but we'll get back to it eventually. It's a fun game. The controls are a bit awkward at times, but a pretty fun game nonetheless. All right. Next up, we have Skylander Giants, also for the PS3. I have to say, this game was a lot better than the first one, Spyro's Adventure. Uh, and I really like the giant figures in this one. This tree guy, is pretty cool. When you put him on the portal of power, his eyes light up. His little weapon on his hand lights up as well. That's pretty cool. I got a really good deal on this as well. This was marked on clearance at Kmart for $24. I brought it up to the checkout, fully expecting to pay that much. It rang up for $12, so I was very happy to get this. I don't know. I think the only way for me to get any more of the Spyro any more of the Skyro. I can't talk. Any more of the Skylanders games, I just have to get a really good deal on it. Because I'm really not one for collecting these things. As long as I can play through the game without having to buy a bunch of crap for it, then I'm fairly happy. I mean, Spyro's Adventure, you kind of do have to buy all the figures to actually get through the final boss, because it is kind of hard. This one, you really don't have to beat the game. I think with like the latest one, Trap Team, there's a ton of stuff that you have to buy, so I don't think I'm going to bother with that. Of course, if you guys saw one of my previous videos, I did pick up a Wii U finally. Very happy to pick up this system. I've had this since the beginning of October and have loved every minute of it. So I'm going to show you the games I have for the system now. First up, Assassin's Creed 3. There's really no reason for me to have this. It was cheap though. I already have it on the PS3. I've already beaten it. But, I just really wanted to see how it played on the Wii U, how it used the gamepad. And, I'm probably going to wind up selling it. I don't know. It's just, I'd rather play through it again on my PS3. I mean, it runs fairly comparable to the PS3 and 360 versions. The graphics are fairly decent, and the controls work well. That's basically it, man. Next up, we've got the wonderful 101. Oh man, I need to play this game more. It hasn't grabbed me yet. The controls feel awkward to me, and of course, I haven't played much of it at all. So I think I just need to give it more time and see if I enjoy it. But it is an interesting game from what I've played so far. Next up, we have Batman Arkham Origins. Again, this is one that I've played on PS3. I've also played it on 360, or halfway through 360. Also played it on the PC. So now I've got it on the Wii U, and this runs fairly well on the Wii U. I know I've heard people complaining of frame rate problems, but I haven't really seen much of that on my playthrough of it. Graphics are very comparable to PS3 and 360. It doesn't really use the gamepad for much. It does have the map on it, and it does have the Batwing drop locations where you can tap on the gamepad and it'll automatically go there. So that's pretty cool. You can also use the Classic Controller Pro on it as well. So that is cool. Now, moving on, we've got Zombie U. This is a pretty unique game. It's not great, but it's pretty fun. It's hard though. It is. You know, you are a survivor of a zombie apocalypse, basically in London, and this guy is trying to help you survive, and you have to do these different missions and things. And it uses the gamepad in some interesting ways. So an interesting game. I don't know. I haven't played much of it yet, but it's an interesting game. Next up, this is a pack-in with the system I picked up. It's Nintendo Land. Initially, I wrote this off as just, you know, a collection of mini games that I just didn't care about. But then I played it, and man, I had a lot of fun with this. This isn't a game that I will play like for hours on end, but you know, whenever I'm bored one day, I'll pick it up, play through a couple mini games, and that's it. I mean, there's some fun, you know, deep mini games on here, and some of them are fairly challenging. I took this over to a friend's house maybe about a month ago, and we played some of the multiplayer games on there, and they were really fun as well. So this is a pretty cool mini game, but it's really up to you if it's worth the purchase or not. And then finally, this one I picked up with. This one I got with the system as well. It's Super Mario 3D World. This game's fantastic. I really, really like this game a lot. The catsuit is really cool to have. And, you know, you've got 4 players on this. It's Mario finally in HD, which, you know, really blew me away. So many different control options on this as well. It's just a really, really fun game. Also, I really wanted to get the wireless controller for the Wii U, because as much as I like the gamepad, you know, it is comfortable in my hands, but there are some games that, you know, it's just more comfortable playing with, you know, a standard controller. So I found this third-party controller. It was only $30. I think it's by a company called PDP, and it is the Afterglow controller. And this is a very comfortable controller to hold, and it works really well. I haven't had any problems with it whatsoever. And it's called the Afterglow because it does have this button here, and you can press it, and your controller glows. It has several LEDs in there. And, I mean, that's pretty cool. It's kind of a useless feature, but kind of neat as well. Battery life on this, I don't know. I think it's probably at least close to 80 hours. But I've only had to charge it. I mean, I haven't had to charge it again since the initial charge, and I've had it for maybe about a month now. So it's worked really well. It's a really nice controller. All right, let's go ahead and get into some of my other games here. I've got some 3DS games to show off. First up, got new Super Mario Brothers 2. Wasn't a huge fan of the original one for DS. Kind of held off on buying this, but I went ahead and took the plunge. And you know, it's fun. It's more of the same, but they did add the coin rush mode, which is pretty fun. Overall, it's a Mario game. You know what to expect. Next up is Professor Layton and the Miracle Mask. I think I got this for like $10 at GameStop a couple months back. Haven't really played much of it yet, but I like these puzzle games. They're a lot of fun. And of course, I picked up Super Smash Brothers for the 3DS. They really did a great job of putting this console game on a portable handheld. It's really well done. The graphics really suit the 3DS, and it works really well on the system. Next up, we got Mario Kart 7. Honestly, I've never been a huge Mario Kart fan. I know people are gonna probably be calling me an idiot, but you know, the only Mario Kart games I've actually played are, you know, Super Mario Kart and Mario Kart 64. And you know, I probably played I played Mario Kart 64 more, and I played that with friends a lot, but I suck at it. I don't know what it is. It's just with the controls or whatever, but I suck at it, and don't really have a lot of fun playing it, mainly because I suck at it. But this one, is a lot of fun. I picked this up. I think the controls are spot on for this. I like the customization features and the weapons in it, and the 3D works really well. Overall, a great game. Next up, Kirby Triple Deluxe. Oh man, I love Kirby, and this is a great game. A lot of reviewers out there when this came out said that, it was a typical Kirby game, didn't try to do anything new, and kind of faulted it for that. And like, what more do you want? It's a Kirby game. It's really colorful, bright and colorful. 3D effect is really well done in it, and it's just a lot of fun. Okay, next up we've got some PlayStation games to talk about. First up is Asteroids. I think I picked this up at a pawn shop for like $2. But this is a kind of a 3D remake of the original Asteroids game, and it's pretty fun. I mean, it's the typical Asteroids game, and apparently the original arcade game is in this as well. I don't really have much to say about this. I played through this a couple times, and it's Asteroids. I mean, there's not much to differentiate it from the original, other than the graphics. And next up, we've got Star Wars Demolition. If you've ever played Vigilante 8 or Twisted Metal, that's basically what this is, but with Star Wars vehicles, and it's a lot of fun. This is actually made by the same creators of Vigilante 8 and Vigilante 8 Second Offense. But it's a pretty cool game. Alright, moving on to some Wii games. First up, speaking of Star Wars, we've got Star Wars The Force Unleashed. I picked this up for $3 at GameStop. And honestly, this is an okay version of the game. There is a bit of the Wii remote waggling and all that, but if all you have is a Wii, sure, go ahead and get it. It's a pretty decent game on the Wii, but if you have a PS3 or 360, get it on that. But still a decent game. Next up, we've got Wii Play. I totally skipped out on this when it first came out, bundled with the Wii remote, because it was like $50, and you're paying $40 for the remote, and then $10 for the game. And honestly, I don't think this is worth $10. $2, which is what I paid for it, is certainly worth it. But it has some fun games on here, like the tank game. It's got pool and table tennis. It's fun. And next up, we've got SSX. No, it's SXX. Try to say that 5 times fast. SSX Blur. I got this for $1. I haven't played much of it, so I don't really have much to say about it. Alright, now moving on to some GameCube games. I've really gotten into getting some GameCube games now, and a lot of these I got from a place called Cash Converters. It's kind of like a pawn shop. But first up, I've never played a Super Monkey Ball game. Never have. And so I figured, why not pick these up? I think they were like $2 or $3 each. Picked up Super Monkey Ball and Super Monkey Ball 2. These aren't in great condition, but for the price, I figured why not. And, they work fine and all. And they're pretty fun games. I don't think they're games I'm going to be playing a lot of, but they're fun games. I just don't understand how some people treat their games. I mean, look at this. You probably can't see it on the camera, but somebody used this as a coaster for their coffee mug, because there's a coffee ring, multiple coffee rings on here. It's ridiculous. I hate that. Next up, we've got Chibi Robo Plug into Adventure. I remember playing this years ago when I had my original GameCube, and really enjoyed it. It's kind of an odd game. You play this robot, and you go around this house doing different chores, kind of like getting rid of bugs, cleaning up, cooking, things like that. And you always have to be aware of your charge because you have to go back and plug yourself in to recharge and all that. But a strange game, but still pretty fun. And I was just surprised to see the price on it. I think I got this for $5, and it's in really good condition too. And I think I got a lot of these games from some guy's collection, or he took really good care of his games. Sadly, I did not get the Super Monkey Ball games from his collection, but next up we've got Shadow the Hedgehog. Sonic Team. What were you thinking with this game? Really, really. So this plays a lot like a 3D Sonic the Hedgehog game, but with shadow and guns, and a bit of cussing as well. I don't know. This really doesn't work all that well. I mean, it's kind of fun, but yeah, no. This is one I picked up from 99 Gamers recently, but I got 007 Agent Under Fire. This was EA's, I think this was their first attempt at a Bond game, and they don't really nail it the first time out. It's okay, but it's not like what we would eventually get with Everything or Nothing, which was a great Bond game. Next up, we've got Batman Vengeance. This is another one I picked up from Cash Converters. Can't remember how much I paid for it. Probably about like $3 or $4. But I remember playing this. I think on my PS2 a while back, and it was pretty fun. I was really big fan of the animated show, and this kind of tells some original stories from that, and some awkward controls, sure, but it's still a pretty fun game. Next up, we've got Medal of Honor: Rising Sun. I like these war first-person shooters, but I'm like the only person that plays first-person shooters for the campaign now, the single-player campaign. I'm not a fan of multiplayer at all, but this is still pretty cool. I haven't really played much of this yet, but pretty cool to have it. Next up, this is one I haven't even played yet at all, but it's Spyro Hero's Tale. I don't even know why I picked this up, just because it was in really good condition and it was cheap, I guess. But I just missed out on the Spyro games when they originally came out on the PS1, and so I guess I'm kind of playing catch up now. Next up, we've got 2 Star Wars games. First up is Star Wars Rogue Leader Rogue Squadron 2. This is another one that was in really good condition. I think I paid $5 for this as well. This was one of the launch titles for the GameCube, and it's a really, really good game. I highly recommend this if you have a GameCube. And then finally for the GameCube games, I've got Star Wars Bounty Hunter. This is a cool game. It's not a great game. It does have its issues, but you play as Jango Fett, and it's a typical third-person shooter. But since you are a bounty hunter, you can accept bounties, and get credits for capturing people, and so that kind of does set it apart from other third-person shooters, but not by much. But it's still pretty cool. Alright, moving on to my one PlayStation 3 pickup. It's Motor Storm. I think I got this for $1 at GameStop. And this is really fun racing game. The graphics are really good on this. Haven't played it a ton, but it's still pretty fun. Now on my 360 games, picked up Eat Lead, The Return of Matt Hazard. Haven't gotten too far into this, but it's pretty fun. Don't really have much to say about it. I picked up Lost Planet Extreme Condition. This really isn't my type of game. I picked it up because it was cheap, but I don't know. I haven't been able to get into it as of yet. And then I picked up the original Gears of War. I did have this years ago, but wound up selling it. But I'm glad I got it back. These are really fun games. I also picked up Gears of War 2. I just started playing this recently. It's a lot of fun. I just got Gears of War 3 digitally on my 360. I haven't gotten into that yet, but still, these are really fun games. Alright guys, well that is it for my latest recent game pickups. So till next time.